I'm walking on a fault. Oh, look at this Indian village.
He's getting a coyote in here. I'll tell you why. Here, I see feathers and stuff. These are the last two rabbit furs left. They were just canned ones, and you'll see evidence out here. We had like a dozen of them. The coyotes tore them all up. Coyotes come in here and play around.
Oh,
He's been in here too. I can see. That's something. Each of these. Okay, we're in this loose knit thatched hut. This is a living structure called a kish, K-I-S-H. I chuckle, we added 2x4s and a few other things here. We had a devil of a time trying to get these things to stay up without blowing over for any long. Well, all we know is the Queas had lots of maintenance in their little kishes over here. This is, we'll call it the tool maker's hut, and I can get as detailed on any of this as you'd like, but they're making arrowheads in here. The material they're making an arrowhead out of is this material right here. If you hold that up even to the light there, I don't know if you can see that, it's translucent. It's volcanic glass.
Huh.
I don't know if you can tell that. This you find around areas that have volcanic action. Now, there's no volcanoes close by over here. So where's the closest place you might find this material? It's on your way to Las Vegas, about 150 miles out of the desert. So we go over there to where you find this material, and what do we find those Indians possessed over there? Distinct little shells, freshwater clam and mussel shells. We know where they came from, this desert. The shells then become a major means of monetary exchange with neighboring tribes. Forget gold and silver, that was the Spaniards. And back east, you called wampum. Okay, string the beads and trade it. And so I'm trying to say that things that they couldn't find in the desert, they're expert traders getting commodities. This is a major one here. This material then, what do they do with it? Put it in a fire and they reheat it. Bring it up to a hot temperature called heat treating. Then let it cool. And then usually you get a piece of antler and you start hitting the side of this piece of obsidian or volcanic glass. If you hit it hard enough, each time you hit it, you get a perfect disc-like fracture. You say a discoidal fracture. What's this mean? You can control your movements here, and all of a sudden you can start shaping and forming. Here's a good example. Here's an obsidian arrowhead right there. And so they end up with, and those are razor sharp. Well, there's all it is glass. So you end up with a real good point. The wood, by the way, I'll show you a plant out here called arrow weed. It puts a straight shaft out, so here's the perfect shaft for your arrow, and I could ramble on. They're pretty smart too. It's called the pestle, okay? It's a grinding device, pretty simple. Actually, if you rub your hands or you feel it's actually pretty smooth. It's been worked over here as well. Get some of this excess out of here. What are we preparing though? You can dry the fruit of those palms over there, grind them, but more commonly what you grind is in that bag right there. That's mesquite beans, okay? When they're green, it looks kind of like a pea pod. It does have a bean on the inside of it, but your mesquite grows all the way around you here, and every spring you can pretty well depend, you're going to find an abundance of mesquite beans. So they dry it, they bring it up here. Actually, somebody here had some. Put beans in there, and you start this grinding process, and you eventually grind it into a fine flour or a meal, okay? I can do a cooking class with you quickly then. You get the mesquite flour, scrape it out, put it in a pottery bowl, we'll pretend. Add sparingly some water. I want a real thick gooey paste. I want heavy consistency. And apply that over a flat rock. Let it bake in the sun a day or two. And that result here is a sheet of what I would call mesquite flatbread, or you'd call it a mesquite tortilla. About 20% sugar, 12% protein. Stuff's good for you, okay? So they'd have so much of this material, though, that they'd actually put the excess in big clay vases that are round in shape, and they got short necks on them, and stored their excess mesquite beans and mesquite flour here. And we find this today on archaeological sites. And
Is
on.
it sweet just to taste it like this?
These are older. Here, the only thing I see, they've had insects in these. See the little boreholes? So no, I wouldn't. If I, it tastes like, when I was a kid, it tastes like Cheerios, honey flavored Cheerios.
Oh, yeah.
They have a good taste to them. And actually, our health food stores over in Palm Desert now, I see the mesquite tortillas. So we got a new wave, a new generation coming in that are picking, instead of eating corn or flour tortilla, what's the nutrient value in those things? None.
Hi. I got you. I'm just following my feet down.
Matt, can you keep up?
I can keep up.
I want to get a picture of me when I fall.
No. That water comes up from the fall. Just comes up from underground.
The elders came out here last month and blessed the village. Did a little ceremony out here. They burned some white sage and went through a ceremony. And the Indians are still living here today. Like how many pure blood Korean Indians lived out here? It's not a lot. Most of them have been interbred with Mexican and rock redleaf. That was back somewhere else. That had been long gone, but isn't that a classic there?
Yeah.
An old drill rig.
Got that.
Something.
Oh,
My buddies should be around the corner here. They're rebuilding mine shafts. They're in there. I don't know if you can see that all the way there. But I wanted to at least get you up through here a little bit because we're leaving the fault gouts little by little. I'm getting into what we call sandstones or mudstones. And what is sandstone? Simply sand that's been laid down successfully with flooding or wind, one layer upon the next, and they get solidified and hardened horizontal to the earth's crust, just one layer upon the next. As I come around the next couple of corners, you're going to see this sandstone is not exactly horizontal to the earth's crust. So when you start seeing beds of sandstone anyway, building out of the ground at these angles, you better start thinking something is going on below you.
Wow, look at that.
Kind of like walking on a real sandy beach. Funny rocks in here. There's feldspar in the granite. Pink stuff is called feldspar. Encased with granite.
Oh, we took the Jeep up into the canyons and mountains way off the road.
There's a raven flying over your head, and here it goes.
Wow. He'd make some of the old John Wayne movies down here, that's for sure. Boy.
Funny looking plant there. It's got a Spanish name of Incencio or Incilio. If you break the branch, it'll ooze an amber colored resin or a sap. Spanish priests would roll it into balls, spin it into cones, and burn it for incense during Mass. So the name Incencio. Actually, if you stare at the base of this one, it's got a lot of the... You got the wind churning the sand, but in moist and light air, it holds it up in the air a little longer. So I think you're seeing two things that occur at once.
Wow. Oh, man.
handle four-wheel drive. Took a while. Stop up there momentarily. I had to just right here a minute.
What? I'm coming.
Did they say that?
Look at this Cava.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had a school group out here. It was a place similar to this. And like, okay guys, play King of the Hill. I can't do this. So I'm in there watching them, trying to scramble up and down. To on the size, walk out ahead.
So we
of
just
them a
came
little
up
bit or
from
something. That wild?
tape it going down again. Yeah, that's
You're on. You're on.
Are you on?
okay.
That's Lenny's new home. In the mountains here.
Reverting back
Yep.
to caveman.
This is
No.
it.
I don't think I can do this as I'm going down though.
Don't try.
I came here to go into this hole.
Okay, we're gonna leave you there.
Okay.
Natural instincts are kicking
Get
in.
ready, I'm gonna come down.
Wait, you're gonna.
Why don't you get down so you can get me falling?
Coming out to get himself woman. Boom. Oh. You're so graceful.
Want me to go ahead of you?
Okay.
Okay, now we're going back down.
No, you can come.
Okay. Don't fall. Okay, I'm coming.
Stay there a minute, 'cause I'm gonna take
You can get some down right down here in front of me. Is probably if you want to get some bizarre type of shot. Look down in there. You know what I mean? Figure it out. And... Okay. Kind of neat though.
Right.
My camera's on.
You go ahead, and then we'll take this down.
Okay, I'm out. See them coming now. Look at that. Look at that up there. That's a crack. We went up there.
Yeah, little things. Everybody.
Oh,
I think so neat.
Coming out.
you made it. Well, we're gonna go up in the balloon. We're blowing it up right now.
about past the horizon line. That should be in 3 minutes.
Up. We're going up.
Welcome on board. San Jacinto. These are the Santa Rosas here. That's San Jacinto. What are the rules of the North Carolina? Is it like sailboat? A sailor can still go sideways using the winds, even opposite winds. We can't. I think we're the less directional vehicle on the surface of the planet and above. And the house and the barns, that's all Merv Griffin's. There is a story behind that. One day it was on fire, and the fire station from La Quinta could not come because it was not the same city, and the fire station from Indio was far, so when the fire crew got there was nothing left. Here comes the sun.
See it? I know this isn't going to look good on video, but that's the sunrise. It's just too bright. PGA West.
Wonder how high up we are.
1,500.
Up there?
Yeah, I'm going to be kind enough to pass those around. There you go. Closer, the references on the ground seem to be to each other. Alright, that makes sense. Okay, you ready for a second picture?
Oh, okay.
We're going to have to a little more to... Okay, great. Both getting the sun, just the second one. Ready?
Wow.
Cheers.
Where are you supposed to?
Tucson.
Practicing polo.
Action. Okay. The first law is whether you're flying level or in a level climb or in a level descent, it's continuous momentum, which means you have to put the same amount of heat all the time. If you put more heat than that, you get an acceleration upward, which means either you start a climb or from a descent you go back to level. If you put less heat than that, you get an acceleration towards the bottom. Which means if you're already descending, you'll descend faster. And if you're a level, you'll start a descent. And if you're climbing, you'll level up. So in the middle, you have to leave. Now the story behind the date palm groves, are you aware of those a little bit? All trees are female, of course, are bearing fruit. Now, in the old days, they were self-pollinizing, otherwise man would have never known them. Well, guess what? Man in his stupidity invited pesticides that eventually killed the larvae of the insects that were doing the job. So now it has to be done by hand. You have one male tree for 50 female. People have to climb on the male tree, cut the limb, and then go fertilize, pollinize every female tree by hand. Every single one of them. One of the most select RV parks in the U.S.
Wow.
I heard that one guy had an RV of $500,000.
Look at it on the golf course right on the RV park. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Look at that. Boy, that's something. Wow.
Look at over there.
Some trees that haven't been harvested yet. You see the bushels hanging down with a paperback. Go ahead, Corey. Yeah, and the rainstorms from August can damage the fruit too. Because as you know, you get about half the annual rainfall in one storm sometimes in August. Most of them are electrical, but sometimes they get real.
Of course, it wouldn't be right without a Home Depot. We're landing. We're on the roof of a house almost. Look at that. Oh, we just about got his antenna.
Wow. We did. It moved. Keeping this lake.
Got a face. Hey, prepare for touchdown.
Well, sort of.
I can't stop it, there's no brakes.
Has a mind of its
There is
own,
momentum to this thing. I'm talking about 7 metric tons when this thing is flying. Voila! That's how hard it is.
We
Huh?
landed.
When they're flying across from New York,
We landed. Yep. What'd you think of the ride?
great,
Yeah?
great.